Hello everyone, and welcome to the live stream of live streams. We've got a lot of drama to talk about tonight, a lot of interesting situations. It's gonna be a pretty heated night, I think. I've got just a lot of topics that are either follow-ups to topics I've already talked about, like Birds of Prey, BioWare, Mass Effect Censorship, and some new topics involving things like the one, the only, the true best gaming platform, Google Stadia. So, hello everyone. How are you all doing? Tonight, the topics that we are going to be talking about are Birds of Prey, because Kathy Ann is citing Warner Brothers creative control as the reason why Birds of Prey failed in the first place. Now, I thought that Birds of Prey was terrible, awful, didn't do any characters justice, didn't do DC any justice, didn't do anything justice, really. It was a terrible movie, from the music, to the acting, to the writing, to the wardrobe. It was all terrible. But she is actually now, I mean, what, a year later? Yeah, well, Birds of Prey came out like a year ago. A year later, she's coming out blaming Warner Brothers now. I'm going to be talking about Terraria. Now, this is a new situation that I'm honestly, am I surprised? No. The Terraria on Stadia has been canceled after the developer, get this, is locked out of Google accounts. I mean, Google suspended their official YouTube channel. They cut them off from development tools. They cut them off from literally anything Google related they had. So the developers had to come out and basically say, I've done nothing wrong. I have done nothing to violate any terms of service. I've done nothing wrong to violate our contracts. So basically, if you want to burn this bridge, the bridge is burned. Terraria will no longer be on any sort of Google platform. Am I surprised that this happened? No. I mean, they cannot stop messing up when it comes to Stadia, when it comes to gaming, none of it. They mess everything up when it comes to Stadia and gaming in general. We're going to be talking about Christina Ariel and her High Republic show opening to lackluster reception. Now, the High Republic for Star Wars is probably one of the only Star Wars projects I've really never had any interest in. I was going to buy the first book, and after, we started seeing her anti-white tweets and they really started coming to light, I ultimately decided not to purchase it. I have dabbled in the book. Not gonna say how. I bought it, obviously. Jeez, what do you guys think I am, a pirate or something? But very mediocre series so far. We've got writers that don't even know how lightsabers work. We've got writers who are anti-white, making very racist tweets. And Christina Ariel is part of that. She is someone who's taken a lot of heat over the past few weeks because she is someone who shares in those sentiments. And the YouTube show, it's not like a real show like a Clone Wars or a Mandalorian. It's more like a YouTube mini-series where it's like 20 minutes, half-hour long episode where it's like they talk about the books and the content, and they make really cringy jokes like every 5 minutes. I mean, the whole thing is really cringy, and I hate using that word, but it's truly the only term I can think of. But it's open to very lackluster reception, and I want to talk more about the BioWare Mass Effect situation. Now, if there are any new subscribers here from this situation, hi. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. But basically, BioWare has decided to edit sexualized cutscenes from Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And I've talked about this in a couple of videos, but there are journalists going after this. Journalists going after anyone who is saying censorship is not okay. And they're proving their pure hypocrisy, because they're saying things like, oh, we all like butts, we just don't want hypersexualization in games, and we don't want to objectify women in games. Then they go on to tweet things like, she could step on me and I'd enjoy it, talking about a fictional character. So there's just a lot of hypocrisy going on here that I really want to call out, really want to talk about. I think I'm going to make another video on this subject just because there are so many journalists coming out and kind of proving their hypocrisy. I know I've already done like 3 videos on this topic, but I mean, if the journalists aren't going to stop, why should I? These journalists are saying it's not censorship when clearly it's censorship. They keep saying the literal definition of censorship, and then they say it's not censorship. It's like they think that censorship can't happen in video games. It 100% definitely can. And yeah, those are the topics that we're going to be discussing tonight. But before we get into the first one, hi guys. How's everyone's evening going? It's going to be a heated night. I can tell it already. Very interesting. Interesting indeed. Let me scroll up. Yeah. Pirate jokes. Yeah, I get it. Wink, wink. High Republic sounds like the name of a weed-themed clothing store. The name of the High Republic is lackluster. The story's lackluster. The characters are boring. The writing's trash. The artwork's mediocre. I mean, nothing surrounding the High Republic was good or is good. They've got one book out. Well, one novel, one comic book. I think the second novel comes out soon. I don't remember. Anyway, whoa. I have an ad for a Razer flip phone. What is this, 2004? Google plus Blizzard merge when? I hope never. I really hope never. Stadia will not prevail. Stadia is dead. Stadia is gone. Well, it's not gone, but there's no chance for Stadia at this point, guys. I'm still tempted to buy a Google Chromecast and then the controller, but I don't want to pay like $60, $70 for a video game on it. Like, I'd do it, but I don't want to pay the price of the games. It's like I already own all the games that are on it. I don't want to pay $60 for Mortal Kombat 11. BioWare is likely on their last leg with EA. Unfortunately, BioWare is the shell of a company that they used to be, and even if they split from EA now or anything, or whatever they could do, which, I mean, EA owns them, so it is what it is. The name BioWare can never be redeemed at this point, I don't think, which is so unfortunate because BioWare has created some amazing games in the past, but I don't think the name BioWare can be preserved. I don't think that it can be restored or rejuvenated. I think that, unfortunately, BioWare is kind of dead now. And I do think that BioWare has decent developers behind them. I think that there are a couple, but the people running it with the bigger picture that, you know, accept the ideas for games, they're completely out of touch. And it is the way that it is now, unfortunately. When Stadia closes, you lose everything. Oh yeah, exactly. And I don't think that Stadia is going to be around much longer. I don't think there's a chance for it at this point. They shut down their internal studios. They don't care about Stadia. It's over with. I did actually talk about that during last week's discussion stream. Yeah, they're basically done. I mean, they closed all their internal studios, their game development studios. They're gonna focus on, I don't even know what at this point, actually. I don't know, to be honest. Do you guys know what they're supposed to be focusing on? EA is more likely to shut down BioWare than BioWare is to make a great game again. Yeah, that's very unfortunate because I respect the name BioWare, or at least I used to respect the name BioWare. I mean, BioWare has one game. Actually, yeah, so BioWare has one game that I support, and that's Star Wars The Old Republic, the Star Wars MMO. That's EA and BioWare, obviously. It's been out since 2011. I've supported it since basically its launch. But besides that, that's it. Obsidian has some woke idiots in them also. I mean, let's be honest. I think that a lot of companies in the gaming industry have people in the companies that are considered woke or considered whatever. We'll just call it woke or an SJW. I think that most companies have a couple of people like that. And it's like, if people are allowed to have their opinions, okay? If people, you know, want to be for social justice and whatever, I mean, that's their choice. That's fine. But voice your concerns properly and don't attack people and insult people because they don't agree with your opinion. And I feel like that's my biggest problem, is that they don't voice themselves in a proper way. They just basically try to cause as much chaos as possible to get their point across. And I know they'd argue the same about anti-SJWs, but I mean, at least a lot of us are willing to have a conversation. Lady, how do you say her name? Oh no, I had to Google Lady, whatever her name is, Resident Evil Step on Me Lady, Mommy Dommy. I had to Google how to say her name and I don't remember. And I know I'm gonna have to mention it. I'm just gonna call her Lady D tonight because I'm already gonna forget. It's like Dimitrescu. That's it. I don't even think I need to look it up. I think that's it. I don't know, too much. Can't do it. Never gonna remember it. We had to go through this last stream trying to figure out her name. I've already forgotten. The last good game BioWare has done is maybe Mass Effect 2. What year was Mass Effect 2? Mass Effect 2 was 2010. I was gonna say 2011. Yeah, 2010. Yeah. I mean, it's rough. Mommy Dommy. I don't know. That's what people call her now, so I go for it. Why not? Drew Karpyshyn was head writer for Mass Effect 1 and went on to work on The Old Republic. His books are so... I know. He is such a good writer. He did Mass Effect 1, The Old Republic, Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO. He also did, what was it, like the Revan book? Oh, he did so much Expanded Universe Star Wars books. So many, I should say. Proper English. Do I know what that is? He did so many good projects. What's he been working on lately? We'll get into the first topic in a minute. What's he been working on lately? I feel like he was working on some kind of book. Maybe not. Yeah, he just did Darth Bane, the Revan. I thought he was working on something new. Oh, he left BioWare last year. That's what it was. That's what it was. I don't think he ever publicly announced a new project, actually. Just call her Lady D. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Too many names, too many pronunciations, too little time to learn them all. She's 9 feet 6 inches tall. Have you heard about EA deciding to whether or not to cut Anthem's life support this week? They're going to. There's no money to be made in Anthem. It's before we get into the first topic, I'm just gonna say I was a supporter of Anthem at the beginning. Sounded like a cool idea. I'm a lover of Destiny, and I know, don't come at me. I'm a woman on the internet. I have rights too. You better be careful. I'm gonna report you to the game journos if you say anything mean. But I like Destiny a lot, and I was hoping that Anthem was gonna be similar to Destiny because that's what we heard. It was gonna be like this fusion between Destiny and Call of Duty, and I was here for it. I like pre-ordered that. I was ready. And it just, I feel like I'm still waiting for what Anthem was supposed to be. Like, I feel like I got the game, yeah. But where's the real game? Where's the real content? Your rights have been revoked. Oh, jeez Louise, of course they have. Rumors about a KOTOR 1 remake making the rounds. Yeah, I talked about it in a video. Alright, guys. Read my feels. Yep. Alright. Let's get started with the first topic. I feel like the topics that I came up with tonight, every time I bring up the title, I'm just gonna laugh. I'm not trying to be sassy or sarcastic, but I just can't help but laugh at how stupid these things are. So as a lot of you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys saw it or saw the news about it, Birds of Prey was a flop. You all know that Birds of Prey was a flop. I talked about it last year when the movie came out. It has been a full year since Birds of Prey came out, and we've heard the rumors that they're gonna make a sequel, that they're gonna be bringing these characters back into another movie, that they basically tried to dish out the blame wherever they can. Everyone in this project doesn't want to take accountability for the nightmare that this movie was. It lost them a lot of money. Actually, I think that they ended up saying that they kind of broke even, but that was after a long time. And obviously, let's take into consideration 2020 wasn't the best year for the movie industry. Birds of Prey was technically the highest box office film in the US last year, just because nothing released in theaters. But now, a year later, the blame is being shifted again, because Kathy Ann cites Warner Brothers creative control as the reason Birds of Prey failed. So damage control for the performance of Birds of Prey continues a year after it came out and went from theaters. I think what's dead may never die, and I think that Birds of Prey, it's never gonna die. I think that we're gonna hear about it till the end of time. Talking to the playlist, the director, Kathy Ann, stated Warner Brothers got their way, but insinuated it might have been better off if she had creative control. Now, I don't know much about Kathy Ann. When I looked her up last year, when Birds of Prey came out, there wasn't a lot of information about her. She hadn't worked on a ton of projects. She did a very mediocre job with Birds of Prey, in my opinion. Now, the thing that I will say is that maybe if she was given full creative control, she could have gone wild. She had a big budget. She could do whatever she wanted with Birds of Prey. Maybe this film could have turned out better. I genuinely don't like to only give people one chance when it comes to directors, actors, cinematographers, whoever it may be, just because you can have those bad projects where it's one bad project and the rest of their projects might be perfect and amazing and fantastic. But Kathy Ann's product, we'll call it, the finished product, definitely didn't impress me, and I know it didn't impress a lot of other people either. But she said it was definitely challenging. Dead Pigs, her debut feature, was such a singular, pure version of myself. She continued, and I think that when you're dealing with a budget like Birds of Prey had and the sort of pressures a studio, especially a studio that is undergoing a lot of change, inevitably you end up having to compromise and fight for stuff. And you win some, you lose a lot. It's just kind of how it is. I do genuinely agree with this, that sometimes you have projects that go really well. Sometimes you have projects that go really poorly. Not every project's going to be perfect. And I do like to give people chances, but Birds of Prey, there was nothing good with it. I did a video on it when it came out. I talked about it in a couple of live streams, but I did an in-depth analysis on Birds of Prey. I think that it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. The music was terrible. The acting was very mediocre. The costumes were terrible. The writing was terrible. The CGI was terrible. None of it was good. It felt like just very low budget, not well done. But it says, she said she would have loved to have more control over the edit, and went into what insanely wonderful opportunity it would be to see David Ayer's cut of the Suicide Squad, which she champions. I'm sick of this. Ever since it was announced that we were going to get the Snyder Cut, everyone wants a cut of their own. We're getting the Snyder Cut for the Justice League, and we know why he's getting his own cut. He deserves to have his own cut. He had to leave the project very early because one of his family members was very sick, passed away, and he was going through a lot emotionally. It was very traumatic for him. That's why I support him getting his own cut of the movie, because he had to leave the project. It's not like he wanted to leave the project, and he didn't get a chance to finish his vision. But oh my gosh, can we stop wanting everyone to get their own cut of their movies? David Ayer gets a cut. David Ayer was on the project the whole time. If he wanted something different, he would have gotten something different, but ultimately he decided in the product that he decided on. Zack Snyder, it says, got to complete his version of Justice League, and David Ayer being allowed the same luxury would further a precedent with Warner Brothers, of restoring a director's vision. Yan isn't sure what would happen with Birds of Prey, which experienced issues of reshoots like the other two films, supervised by stunt coordinators and the John Wick director. I don't know if there's a Kathy Yan cut out there, but I think for any filmmaker, all of us in it, we want to express ourselves as wholly as possible, she said, and to match what you ultimately see on screen with what's in our heads. Now, she isn't ruling out doing another blockbuster or working with Warner Brothers again, as long as she finds the story compelling and has a little bit more control over the story I'm telling. Birds of Prey, I don't see a way to save it. Unless they literally had the whole entire movie rewritten, I just don't think any of it is worth re-editing and re-putting out and trying to make work. These people weren't ripped off of the project, and I think that that's the most important thing here, is that they had a chance to create their vision, complete their vision, and just create the movie that they wanted. Yes, Warner Brothers obviously did have some kind of creative control, because any big company does over a project, but they weren't ripped off of it and given an unfair chance. It says, YouTuber Mr. H Review sounded off on Ian's comments in a review news video. He called her commentary damage control and hilarious. I actually kind of agree with that. I do think that it is kind of damage control. It's a year later, no one's talking about the movie, and then suddenly she brings this up. Why didn't she bring this up half a year ago? Why didn't she bring this up 8 months ago? Why didn't she bring this up 10 months ago? It's because they're trying to get eyes on the project. And we do also have to consider that Warner Brothers right now does actually have Birds of Prey 2 greenlit. They have said, we are coming out with Birds of Prey 2. We're going to create it. We don't know when. We don't know who the director's going to be. We don't know what actors are coming back. But we know they're supposed to be working on another Suicide Squad movie. Not like the Suicide Squad, which is James Gunn's, not that. Like actually Birds of Prey 2. And we've heard rumors that it's gonna like have the Joker in it, and it's, I mean, we've heard all of these very bizarre rumors.
RNX has just donated $26.
Thank you for the $26 donation, much appreciated. No text to speech, no text to speech. Thank you for the $26 donation. We've heard the rumors of what this, Birds of Prey 2 is gonna feature, and we've heard it's gonna like have the Suicide Squad in it. I'm not believing any of those rumors, but we do know that Birds of Prey 2 is going to come eventually, maybe, possibly, unless they decide to cancel it. They have greenlit it, though. But Kathy Yan, like we read, is citing Warner Brothers' creative control as the reason it failed. On one hand, I do believe it, because I do definitely think that companies can mess up a vision for a movie, but at the same time, I don't believe it, because she's had a whole year to come out and say something, and she hasn't said anything, and I just feel like she wants to start working on other projects. She wants companies to back her. She wants companies to financially support a project. She can't get it because Birds of Prey failed. And now she's suddenly coming out with these statements. So that's all that I really had to talk about this. If there is any other information, if Warner Brothers makes a statement, which I'm sure they won't, I will definitely let you all know, but I doubt it. Because that's not how companies roll. They don't take accountability for anything. They just care about making money, and that's that. All of Hollywood is damage control. Very true. Hollywood, no one in Hollywood really can take accountability for the projects they ruin or the bad products that they put out. They can't just admit, hey, we messed up. We did a bad job. We could do better. Maybe next time. They don't do that. I thought I saw mention or rumor that the second one was canceled. Maybe it was rumored. I haven't seen any official cancellation yet, though. It is still greenlit, as far as I'm aware. DC movies are, yeah, they're very bungled right now. They're very messed up. I'm a DC fangirl. I really like DC. But with how the DC extended universe has been going, I'm just not all that impressed. I haven't been impressed for a while. Do I think that they could do better? Absolutely. I thought Wonder Woman, the first movie, was very good. Wonder Woman 1984 was pretty mediocre. I gave it like a 6 out of 10. The Suicide Squad was the worst in my opinion. What other movies have we seen? I'm personally, I miss Ben Affleck as Batsy. I thought he did really good. Henry Cavill, great actor. But I just feel like the DC extended universe, expanded universe, whatever X universe they're using right now isn't very impressive to me. Do you think the DCU could benefit from a completely original character? Yes. I actually have thought that for a while. I think well, the problem is there's no one good that could write an original character, but I think that they should make a completely unique original character and put them in the DCEU, whether it's a hero, whether it's a villain. I think that that would really draw people in and give them a lot of intrigue, because you can't read about the character in a book. You can't read about the character in a novel. You can't read about the character, you know, online. There's no other source material, so I think that that could be really cool to have like a super mysterious character, but there's no one good to write it, so they need someone good to write the character, and then they'd actually need to make it a good character, like intriguing and not garbage, because that's what happens, is just garbage is put on a table and they put some glitter over it, sometimes some leather, and call it a character. The cartoon movies are 200% better than what we are getting. I agree, Mr. X. X gonna give it to you. I agree. DC is, right now for me, a wash. I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm not very impressed. Oh my gosh. That drink is sour. Sour. It's like pineapple and raspberry and something. Juice. Vera thinks Henry Cavill is a great actor. He is a good actor. He was great in The Witcher. He was great as Superman. I mean, I think that he's a really good actor. Warner Brothers keeps trying to reproduce The Dark Knight. Yup, exactly. They can't do it, but they keep trying. It's a little pathetic at this point. Like, get over it. We know that it was successful. Now do something new, something intriguing. Do something. Basically. See what happens. Throw a bunch of stuff on the table. Just don't ruin good characters. Alright, you guys. So let's move into the second topic of the night, which is going to be a brand new situation, actually. This information just came out today. The tweets were just posted today. And I didn't know about it until a little while ago, and I went, okay. More Google Stadia garbage. So, as you all know, Google Stadia is basically dead. It's 95% dead. Google Stadia, I thought was a really cool concept at first. I thought that it could have went really well. The execution was done very poorly. Google Stadia launched way too early. It was missing features. The servers were garbage. The store UI was trash. Looked like it was thrown together in 5 minutes. And I just think that they rushed out Google Stadia way too quickly. And last week, I talked about it during last week's discussion stream. They announced that the Google Stadia game development studios are going to be shutting down. They're going to focus on something else, apparently. Who knows, really? They didn't really say. They just kind of said, we're going to focus on putting out games instead of creating games. So, okay, you've got like 2 new games on it since it launched last year, but I'll trust you. And Stadia is basically dead at this point. There's no way to save it, at least in my opinion, unless they threw shit tons of money into it and hope for the best, and I don't think they're going to get the best. What is dead may never die, though. Again, maybe Stadia will never die because of all the negativity surrounding it. But Terraria, as you guys know, is an extremely successful game. It has had critical acclaim for years now. Very popular. I haven't played much Terraria, I'll be honest. I know. I've played some of it. I've never been someone that's put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it, though. It's a good game, though. But Terraria on Stadia has been canceled after the developer is locked out of all of their Google accounts. We're not just talking about like a little misunderstanding. We're not just talking about like one account being locked. We are talking about all of their Google accounts. So, oh my gosh. Problems started when the official Terraria YouTube account was disabled. When you're talking about a massive game, you'd think a company like Google would care. I hear people all the time saying YouTubers complain about Google not caring about them. YouTubers complain about this and that. They don't care about these developers and these giant creators, these companies that have tons of support behind them. Why would they care about little pea-sized people like me and like you? So the co-creator of Terraria has officially canceled the upcoming Google Stadia version of the game after his Google accounts were locked. I'm sorry, you Google Stadia players. I know you bought Stadia just to play Terraria. Not happening. Very sorry. I'm going to put an F in chat for the Google Stadia users out there who bought in to this scam of a product. It says Andrew Spinks, or Demilogic, I think that's how you say it, Demilogic on Twitter, explained that he has lost access to all of his Google accounts, including Google Play, Google Drive, YouTube, and Gmail. He was like wiped across the board. Like, all of his accounts were disabled across the board here. It says he has been trying to recover them for over 3 weeks. This isn't like half a week, over a weekend. Maybe we hear about the situation on a Friday. By Wednesday of the next week, it's resolved. 3 whole weeks, almost a month, has gone by since his accounts were disabled. And YouTube and Google in general has done nothing to fix this. It says his attempts have been unsuccessful as he claims he has been given the runaround by Google. Google gives everyone the runaround. They do not care. They truly don't care. And I understand that we're talking about giant platforms here, YouTube, Google, Gmail, tons of different teams that, you know, access this information and it has to be passed around. But you'd think for a big company with trailers with hundreds of millions of views, they'd be able to get this situation cleared away pretty easily, especially when they're a developer that's supposed to be putting a game onto their platform. So it says on Twitter, my phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought Lord of the Rings 4K and can't finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I can't access my YouTube channel. The worst of it all is losing access to my Gmail account of over 15 years. I absolutely have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia is officially canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward. I just want to say good on this developer, okay? Now, we don't know. Maybe he did do something wrong. Maybe they did decide to cancel their contract. Maybe they canceled his accounts for a good reason. We don't know. But I tend to believe a developer, especially a developer behind a product like this, where they don't need clout for attacking Google or, you know, saying Google's screwing us over, especially when on his official YouTube channel, another official YouTube channel he's put up like 5-6 hours worth of showing the runaround he's gotten from companies like Google, from Google directly, saying we're going to look into it, we're going to try to fix it, we're going to look into it. Good on this developer for not taking shit from Google, for saying, I'm going to create what I want and it's not going to be on your platform because you've refused to help me. So it says, Spinx's Google difficulties appear to have started in late January when Terraria's official YouTube account was disabled. The Terraria official Twitter account posted about it last week in an effort to grab Google's attention, and of course nothing came from that. Google didn't respond on Twitter or reactivate their accounts, emails, nothing. Nothing happened. It says his Google difficulties appear to have started in late January. Explaining the scale of the issue, he did write, like I said, he lost thousands of dollars of applications on Google Play, his Lord of the Rings 4K edition. And then back in 2011, as you guys know, Terraria was critically acclaimed when it released. IGN themselves had said this devious little indie sandbox title borrows so many ideas from Notch's game, Minecraft, that it essentially is Minecraft in 2D, but it also beefs up the familiar gameplay in exciting ways. And then it says in other Google Stadia news, Google recently shut down all of its internal game studios, affecting approximately 150 employees. I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say something got messed up. Possibly. And Google's just not responding and can't fix it because they're not responding. I think that if they knew about the situation, like someone that legitimately could do something, they might fix it. But they cannot stop screwing up with Stadia. They just had to lay off all of these employees. They just had to, close down all of their studios. If they wanted Stadia to succeed, this is the time where they need to be grabbing the attention of consumers by bringing in more products. If they're not going to be creating products, they need to be bringing in products. And a game like Terraria is an amazing game. It's sold a ton. It's critically acclaimed. This is the type of title Stadia needs if they want Stadia to try to survive at all whatsoever in any freaking capacity. And they just can't even get this right because they can't even fix this developer's account. Really terrible of Google to do, of whether it was the Stadia team that did something or whether it was Google that did something, who knows? Because we don't know how this happened. But if there is an update to this, I will definitely let you all know. And I'm hoping that there will be a good outcome to this, that they'll fix the accounts, they'll say we're really sorry, but also that the developers will stick to their guns and not go back to Stadia. I know that they do want to sell more copies of the game, but I mean, who are they going to sell Terraria to? Like the 20 people that have Google Stadia still, and then the 15 that use it actively, and then the 5 that actually spend money on new games? I don't know. I'll give them the cost of the game 5 times over so they don't go to Google Stadia. Anyway, that's all that I had to talk about this. I hope that it turns out to be a positive situation. I hope that they fix the situation really quickly, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, because, well, they haven't fixed it in 3 weeks. I hope that someone at least tries to reach out to them to fix it. Then again, it shouldn't have been broken in the first place, so, yeah. Google won't invest in the console. It's too much of a... Well, it's not technically a console, because it's like the Chromecast and then a controller. It's not technically a console. That's why I call it a platform. It's a thing. Google Stadia will not prevail. Those 5 people are dedicated. True, Rooster, true. Those 5 people are super dedicated. Good for them. If you guys want to support Google and Stadia, I disown you, but good for you for sticking up for your beliefs. But I disown you. Oh no, the High Republic, the stuff of nightmares, the stuff of failures. True. Yeah, we're going to talk about High Republic again in just a minute. Well, there's no way to avoid this conversation. We've just got to get it done and over with. It's a little unfortunate that it's turned out so terribly, but sometimes we just need to accept life. We just need to accept that things happen and accept that not every product that comes out of a franchise can be good. This is one of those times. This chick? Yes, this chick. The woman that has made very anti-white tweets and has also supported very anti-white sentiments before. Her. TM. I don't like having to trash Star Wars, but the High Republic is like the worst Star Wars product ever. I'll be honest, the only High Republic thing I'm interested in is the manga style comic. The protagonist chick looks nice. I think that that will be cool, I hope. If it will come out good though, will the writing be good? Who knows? One of those times, well, okay, there's been like 2 or 3 bad Star Wars situations lately. That's it though. That's it. It's not 90% of Star Wars is negative now. No, no. 98% of it's positive. Sure, sure. See, unbelievable. I could be a Star Wars show host. I could 1v1 this chick in Star Wars knowledge and absolutely obliterate her. Exodia could use obliterate. I mean, she could ask me one question and I'd be able to give her a novel on my information base that I have in my brain about Star Wars. I could ask her who's Luke Skywalker and she'd just say toxic white guy. I won't dunk on her too much. I won't dunk on her too much. Okay, I will. That's a lie. I'm going to. Yes, and then after this, we will get into the BioWare topic. And the journalists topic. Yep.
OranX has just donated $26.
Yep. Hey, thank you for the $26 donation, Oran. Much appreciated. Another $26 donation with no text-to-speech. Is text-to-speech, like, broken or something? Seems pretty suspicious. Thank you for the donation, Oran. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Screw the High Republic. I agree. So, let's get into the High Republic. Because, guys, I'm losing brain cells. I don't want to admit it. Every time I talk about a topic like this, I get dumber and dumber. Okay, Star Wars is one of the best franchises to ever be created. And I want Star Wars to thrive. I want Star Wars to be good. But as a Star Wars lover, there is only so much I can tolerate. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. There comes a point when you don't want to support a company anymore, when you don't want to support a project anymore, and the High Republic is one of those things. For this series, I have decided to not support Lucasfilm. I am not someone who calls for boycotts. I'm not saying boycott the High Republic or boycott Star Wars. For me personally, though, I did decide to not purchase the High Republic products. I was going to purchase the first book. I saw the situation happen with this woman herself, actually, and then I decided I didn't want to financially support this project. But Christina Ariel, her Star Wars show has come out. It's not a show like the Clone Wars or the Mandalorian or Ahsoka or anything like that. It's just like a little YouTube show where they sit and for a certain period of time, it's 20 minutes to a half hour, I think, they talk about Star Wars and the High Republic. They just kind of promote the product. They talk about the story. They hopefully get people interested in it. They've been sharing them on like social media, like Facebook and Twitter, trying to get people that are Star Wars fans to know what the High Republic is. But their show, the first episode, opens to lackluster reception. Wow. It's like none of us saw this coming. I'm shocked. Surprised. This is insane. This is not surprising at all, actually. Because when you make anti-white sentiments and you say anti-white things, I don't know, who's not going to support you? Lots of people. So it has been a week since Christina Ariel hosted the YouTube show covering the new Disney publishing effort for Star Wars: The High Republic. Hello, please go away, little pop-up. Has aired, and its viewing numbers are okay. The viewing numbers are alright, but it's when you look deeper into the situation when you go, oh, that's why it's got views. So the premiere episode currently sits at a little over 100,000 views, which is fair for a YouTube video. However, 6.2K gave it a thumbs up, while 3.5K viewers gave it a thumbs down, and that number is still going up. It is still sitting at the 6.2K likes, and it is currently at almost 4,000 dislikes. It says as much support as she was given for hosting her show. From the Star Wars official Twitter account to a number of industry individuals, the support from viewers seems lackluster at best. So, however, the comments on the High Republic video aren't in support of the effort's first book, Light of the Jedi, but are rather overwhelmingly expressions of disdain for the line's writing or excitement for The Mandalorian and the upcoming Book of Boba Fett. Imagine putting all this time and effort into a project. Imagine putting tons of money, hoping that this series is going to go good. Putting out this episode that did obviously cost some money to create. And then everyone commenting on it. So what about Luke Skywalker? Where's he? When do we get more Baby Yoda? It is hilarious to see the characters they wanted to erase, like Luke Skywalker, be thrown in their face again. Of people saying, when do we get more of this amazing, fantastic, great character? So, it says, it was hard to find comments praising the High Republic comic, book, or even video for that matter. There were a few comments, but generally acknowledged that it was great work, and by few, I'm probably being generous. One YouTuber remarked, Light of the Jedi was great, can't wait for Into the Dark. I just want to say, if you liked the High Republic or you want to support it, you go for it. If you want to support it, that's okay. I'm not going to tell you don't go and support it. But if you didn't support it, more power to you. It says the bulk of the comments wanted to talk about Gina Carano, Luke Skywalker, The Mandalorian, or how unhappy respective viewers were with the High Republic's social justice virtue signaling efforts. In other words, literally anything other than the actual book itself. Someone said, just finished the first book. Sorry, I don't like it. Someone else wrote, thanks for ruining my escape. Oof. That's rough as a company to hear, that you ruin someone's escapism. Okay, so thanks for ruining my escapism. What was once a story-based tale has become a platform for SJW politics. If you are so talented, why not make your own IP rather than destroying something that so many people love? I completely agree with this. Why don't you just go and create your own work? Go create your own stories, create your own characters, throw whatever the hell you want into it. If you want to throw politics into it, you go for it. Don't ruin these amazing, beloved franchises, though. Someone, Jesse Dashwood, said, can we get just more Mandalorian and more Luke Skywalker? I mean, Luke is still a young man in the Mandalorian timeline, like the early to mid-20s, right? Why couldn't we just have more adventures with him and Han and Leia? Disney is putting resources into the wrong things. I completely agree with this. I think that this is, for me, yes. That's the best way I can put it. I want more of the Mandalorian. I want more Luke Skywalker. I want to see these amazing characters and these amazing stories to be the focus of Star Wars and be the focus of this franchise that we all love and appreciate. And instead, we get these crappy characters like Rey that suddenly know ancient Jedi magic and techniques and secrets when literally they've seen a lightsaber once. I love this. 400 upvotes. I can't wait to see what happens next in The Mandalorian plus more Luke. It must feel really shitty to know you've put so much effort and dedication into a series that no one cares about. Everyone would rather see Luke freaking Skywalker, which I'd rather see more Luke Skywalker. I'm good with that. But we know SJWs don't. They think that Luke is some toxic white male character, and he's an awful character, and he deserves to be wiped from the face of Star Wars. Someone said, watch The Mandalorian instead. I have spoken. Hope for Humanity says, looking forward to the book of Boba and Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian. Great to have a symbol of hope that conveys prosperity and hard work. Ooh, what a burn. Damn. A symbol of hope. That's who Luke Skywalker is. He's a symbol of hope. Someone said, you can stop this video after the 153 mark. What a cringe fest. I agree. I did watch it. I don't say the word cringe very much. It was very cringe. It was very tasteless in my opinion. It was very boring, very bland. I mean, it wasn't that good. They did have some like animations. That doesn't make up for bad scripting. It was very scripted. You could clearly tell that the people on there like don't know much about Star Wars. They did have some of the writers, but Christina Ariel herself, she doesn't know anything about Star Wars. Someone said, I kind of wonder why so many people comment about The Mandalorian under a High Republic video. Unfortunately, I have a feeling why. Yeah, it's because the High Republic isn't good. Nothing about the High Republic is good, at least in my opinion. And we'd rather focus on amazing stories and amazing characters and not stuff and crap like this. So it says, a tip of the iceberg. Of course, everything listed here is just a sampling of the comment section, but it's apparent that interest in the High Republic is lackluster at best. In fact, this evidenced dissatisfaction with the line stands in direct contrast with the book's status as a New York Times bestseller, as given the hobbling state of the comic book industry and literature in general, it's hard to imagine the book being something the audience would want to talk about. They are saying that this book is like a New York Times bestseller. I just want to say, nowhere has it in stock. So it might be sold out everywhere and might be seen as a good seller when you can't even get it because they're not producing any copies of the book. How can a book be given a chance to sell or not sell when you're only sending stores a couple of copies of the title? I don't know. Maybe it really is an amazing book in some people's opinions. Maybe there are people out there who are die-harding about this series, who are saying this is amazing. But I didn't want to support it monetarily after we saw someone like Christina Ariel come out and make very anti-white, very anti-male tweets. And it does suck to see. It causes a lot of divide. And it's people like this that ruin the industry, that ruin this franchise, that ruin things that we all love. And they don't care that they're ruining them. They only care that they're getting their point across and owning the losers. And I guess to her, she's done that because she did get to host this Star Wars show. I don't think it's going to last long, though. I think that maybe the High Republic YouTube show will last 5, 8 episodes, maybe 10 episodes at most. But I don't think that it's going to get farther than that. And I just really, I'm really disappointed with how Lucasfilm is acting, who Lucasfilm is hiring, and just the writing for Star Wars in general right now. Besides for like The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, I think those have been really good. But for the novels, High Republic in general, really, really poor. But that's all that I had to talk about with that topic. And in a minute, we're going to move on to the final topic of the night. That's a butt. And these are very, 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 very mad journalists. We're also going to be talking about them because they are attacking anyone who is saying the Mass Effect situation is censorship. Mass Effect Legendary Edition has been it's blown up, that's for sure. Butts, that is a butt. Yes, indeed, that is a butt. The likes are fake. It's an old trick. They inflate the likes to make it look more good. Maybe. I'm honestly surprised that they haven't shut off comments or the like to dislike ratio yet. I bet they will shut it off soon. But as of right now, the like and dislikes and also comment section of the Star Wars The High Republic YouTube show are not shut off, but I think that they will be shut off soon. Yeah. I went and downvoted that show. Hey. I didn't tell anyone to do that. Maybe, though, if you want to give it a chance, just watch a minute of it. Before we get into the next topic, guys, the final topic of the evening, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, please make sure to give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way. Please consider supporting the channel and the live stream. You can via Streamlabs. You can donate just $1. A notification will pop up. $20 or more, a special notification pops up. If you want to support long term, you can become a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. You can follow me on social media like Twitter or Minds. You can join our Discord server. We're all very active there. We've got 400 members, 500 members or something like that. I need to check again. I haven't checked in a while. All of the links are in the description in case you want to support. I appreciate all of your support, though. Even if you're just here to watch, I do appreciate you being here. How many bot farms are out there manufacturing fake outrage? I feel like it's rampant on social media. Yeah. Vera, when the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is released, you should stream a playthrough of the original Mass Effect. I don't necessarily know about that. The problem is that it's still kind of giving them free press in a way, because it's still bringing attention to it, but at the same time, the original games are good. Well, Mass Effect 3, we're not gonna talk about that. 478 members. Awesome. You guys need to join the Discord. Let's get to 500 members. I only tag you all when I go live. Other than that, we don't ping excessively. I can't believe how many people support this. First, it's a little censorship, and then it turns into more. Exactly. Yeah. That's why I'm going so strong against this, and I'm saying this isn't okay, and the censorship isn't okay. There are already Mass Effect HD texture mods. Right, yeah. It's just that they're trying to get more money, so they keep re-releasing these games and saying, we're gonna fix textures, we're gonna upscale them. Yeah, it was a good game. The ending did suck, though. It's not censorship. It is censorship. The literal definition of censorship is the suppression of any part of books, films, news, etc., a video game would fall under that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to security. BioWare is deeming a butt shot in a game as obscene, so they're removing it. That is called censorship. It is censorship. Speak for yourself. I ping like a madman. No one can ping but me and moderators. It's a cash grab. Exactly. It is. It's a very unfortunate situation, though. There are definitely people who don't mind the end of Mass Effect 3. It is a very give or take situation. There are a lot of people who don't support it, don't like it, and there are people who do like it, which if you do, good for you. Alright guys, let's start with the last discussion of the night. So, I've talked about this in a couple of videos now, and I am going to be making another video on it, but you all know that BioWare is releasing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It's going to be remasters of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. People are very excited for it. I was pretty excited for it at first. Now, in my first video about the topic, I talked about how they're making a Legendary Cache, which has a helmet, a collector's pin, a couple pieces of paper for $150, but it doesn't even come with a copy of the game. I was very mad at that. I think that that is absolutely ridiculous, and a lot of other people agree with me. And then we found out that BioWare is editing out sexualized cutscenes in it As it says, BioWare has confirmed the Legendary Edition will feature edits to some of its more sexualized cutscenes, particularly scenes involving characters like Miranda Lawson. Any sort of scene with butts. There are a lot of scenes within the Mass Effect series that are comedic in nature. They're butts randomly. We could be in a cutscene and then you just see a butt. Yes. I understand that some people can't take the game seriously when that's happening, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's not constantly. It's not every cutscene with these characters. And I think that when you're remastering a product, you should keep it as close to the original product as possible. And that's not what BioWare is doing here. They are taking this game and saying, well, there was a little bit of outrage about the butts, so we're going to remove them. That is called censorship. And I've talked about it in 2 videos. And there is one side of fans of BioWare, and there are people who are basically defending this, saying it doesn't matter, it was distasteful, cutscenes, we don't need to see ass all of the time, what does it matter if the characters are censored, what does it matter if the scenes are changed and the camera angles are changed? And then you have people like me, like you guys, a lot of you guys I'm sure, who are saying screw censorship. It doesn't matter what's being changed and what's being censored, because let's be honest, is it the end of the world that a camera angle could be moved up a little bit so it's not constantly focusing on a character's butt? No, it's not the biggest deal, but it is still censorship, and I, and a lot of you say screw censorship, and we do not support censorship in any capacity. And there are journalists out there who refuse to admit that this is censorship. They are trying to come up with every excuse in the book to say this is not censorship, and I think that it is disgusting. I think that it is ridiculous. These game journalists do have a lot of influence in the industry. When you want to see news, you Google the topic that you want to talk about, and you see the news, and maybe their website pops up.
Censored donations.
What?
You need every bit of it to go towards the Legendary Edition.
No. I'm not buying a Legendary Edition. Thank you for the $50 freaking donation, Oron. Much appreciated. Thank you. Not buying a Legendary Edition, though. I'm 98% sure. But, back to the topic. Screw censorship. There are a lot of journalists out there who are defending the censorship, trying to come up with every excuse to say it's not censorship, trying to say they're just altering, cutscenes a little bit. They're taking away distasteful content. And I wanted to bring up a couple of new examples of journalists doing everything they can to defend this censorship and basically saying, it's okay, BioWare, do what you want. You can oppress women if you want. So, this is a little bit of a thread that I've wanted to show. So Critical Drinker said since human anatomy is now considered problematic, according to game journalists, which as a woman, it's very disheartening to find this out, that female anatomy is bad, it's problematic. Here's a bunch of pictures of some nice video game butts. # free the butt. Yeah, those are butts. Those are butts for sure. Definitely butts. And as you can see, there are a lot of people who agree with Critical Drinker. There are a lot of people who are saying I agree. We have heel versus babyface here. We have someone saying only women's butts. Apparently, if it's a male butt, it's fine. We have people that are clearly pointing out there is a lot of hypocrisy here because this game journalist, her name is Mary, @girl from Canada. Don't go and message this person. Don't go and harass this person. Please don't do any of that. They're a game journalist, and if you go to their Twitter, you can see a recent article that they did that a lot of people have laughed at, myself included. How toxic online culture is affecting women in games. These are the types of articles that they write, and she had tweeted out in response, she retweeted Critical Drinker's tweet, saying, it's not about butts. We all like them, to be honest. It's about hypersexualizing and objectifying women in a video game. So, okay. I'm gonna try to not get off on a tangent here. But she's basically saying, showing a butt in a video game, that's a no-no. showing a butt in a video game, you are hypersexualizing a character. You are objectifying women by highlighting a very attractive fictional female character's body. And people are pointing out her hypocrisy right now because just a couple of days ago, she tweeted this out. She could step on me and I would enjoy it. Talking about the Resident Evil 8 character, Lady Dimitrescu, I believe that's how you say her name. Clearly, she is okay, or at least a couple of days ago, was okay with tweeting things like she could step on me and I'd be okay with that. There's also this tweet. I clearly have a type and they're very attractive fictional female characters. I had retweeted her initial post, the picture, and I said the hypocrisy is so freaking real. Your opinions clearly haven't supported this in the past. And if she, supports attractive fictional female characters, good. I mean, I support attractive fictional female characters. I think everyone should. I don't think that it's a problem to have a sexy female in a video game. I'm not attacking her for if, she does support it and she does believe she could step on me and I would enjoy it. Okay, whatever. That's not my problem here. My problem is the hypocrisy. Saying, oh my gosh, it's about hypersexualization and no objectifying women, yet she's saying things like this. I said the censorship isn't about hypersexualization. It's about covering up and suppressing female sexuality. We see this happening time and time again in video games. We've seen Mortal Kombat 11 female characters censored, covered up. Dead or Alive 6, covered up, censored, changed, altered, whatever word they want to use because they're afraid of the word censored or censorship. We see it happen time and time again. We're seeing it happen in tons of different games right now. And someone named Sean Crisco, I think that's how you say his name, tweeted on her initial post saying, seeing this debate unravel over the last week has been nothing short of an embarrassment. It's mostly men crying about outrage, but some women have disappointing viewpoints in this too. God forbid we try to better our art for future generations and try to address sexism. Who are you? Who are you? Van Gogh? Who are you? Pablo freaking Picasso? What art are you talking about? God forbid we try to better our art. He tries to make it sound like there is some epidemic going on. There's some massive, outrageous problem that like 90% of people in the world know about. I do think that people should know more about video game censorship, but I don't genuinely think that we should be covering women up more in games. I think that it is absolutely ridiculous and pathetic that people are defending the censorship of female characters in video games. As a woman, that is not what I want. As a woman, I want more empowering looking female characters. I want more sexy looking female characters because not only are they nice to see, because I'm sure a lot of you would agree with that, it shows we're not taking any steps back. This guy is saying disappointing viewpoints because they're not the same viewpoints as his. Yes, it's a debate because people like this refuse to realize that this is censorship and people like me are just calling it what it is. BioWare is taking an existing product and removing elements they consider obscene, and journalists are literally defending it because they want to be against the toxic incels, because he did actually go on after this to tweet out, I think I angered the incels. Literally proving all he wanted to do basically was get people angry. People like this don't want to have an intelligent conversation. I'm someone who is all for an intelligent conversation. If they want to talk about a situation like this, good. You know, even if we have differing opinions, agreeing to disagree. I think that conversation about these things is better and is healthier. Look at his type of replies, though. Altered camera angles ruining my life. These type of people, they have 2 brain cells. They do not know at all how to have a conversation about something. Now, as you can see, he's talking about this debate, unraveling, disappointing viewpoints in this too. He's denying that it's censorship, and a lot of these game journalists are denying that it's censorship. I'm going to read to you guys the definition of censorship. The suppression of any part of books, films, news, etc., which video games would fall under, that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to security. Even though it is a BioWare game and it is BioWare doing it, it is self-censorship. What they are doing and what they're saying is the literal definition of censorship. BioWare is censoring this game. And again, do I think that it's the biggest deal in the world? No. I don't think that raising a camera angle up slightly is the biggest deal in the world. It's like the Jill Resident Evil situation. They put shorts underneath Jill's skirt in the Resident Evil 3 remake to avoid panty shots. Did I think that was the biggest deal in the world? No, of course not. But it's still censorship. I can realize that it's censorship, and these people need to as well. Too many people are afraid to get, too many journalists, I should say, are afraid to get on the bad side of companies. They want review codes. They want to be able to review a game early. They want clicks because they're defending a company, and they refuse. They will not say the word censorship. They use words like they're altering gratuitous butt shots or camera angles. They're altering camera angles. They're changing camera angles. And as Grim points out in chat, the game wasn't even changed by the original art team either. I mean, most of BioWare is different now, but yeah, they're not the same people. They're not the original art team. The people working on the censor had no part in the original. It's not like we have the lead designer who was the lead designer on the past games, the new games, and he's saying, we're deciding we're going to do it. That would be a bit more acceptable because we're talking about someone who had a hand in the original games, but these people don't. They didn't. They never will. And they're altering these products. And I believe for a remaster, you should be trying to preserve as much content as possible and stick as closely to the original products as you can. And that is definitely not what they are doing here. So that's all that I really had to discuss for this topic. I have a couple more examples I'm going to be using in tomorrow's video. I am going to be putting a video out on this tomorrow just because it is infuriating. As a female, this is a step back, Just because game journalists want to own the loser gamers, they refuse to talk about real issues in the gaming industry. And it's disheartening to see happen.
OranX donated $11.
Thank you for the $11 donation, Oran.
For the definition of censorship is changed to suit their agenda.
Yup. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. I mean, maybe. What is censorship? I don't know. It's a made-up word. It's, stuff and things. It could change. Who knows? But I will be doing a video on this again tomorrow. I'll have a couple more examples to use. I'll be talking about my thoughts more in depth. But as a female, it's pathetic to see this happen, to see game companies suppress female sexuality in games, seeing companies censor female characters because of outrage online, because a couple of people got mad that they were in sexy outfits. And it's disheartening to see. It really is. It is censorship no matter what these type of journalists try to say. What is happening is literally the definition of censorship, and I do not want to let this go because this needs to be called out, and not enough people are calling this out. There are definitely people on social media who agree with me. A lot of you guys here agree with me, and that's awesome. But there needs to be more people that recognize that censorship does happen fairly normally in the gaming industry now. I wonder how many of these journalists I'll be blocked by between tonight and tomorrow. Probably none. That's a thing that I've noticed, is that these game journalists block everyone who talks to them and negatively, but they don't ever block me, probably because I'm a female. But Grim said, I think a big point here, though, is that these changes are not being done by the original art team. These are people, yeah, that had no part in making it. I already read that. But yeah. It is definitely a big point, for sure. Censorship sucks. Yes, it does. Just because you're a female, you aren't the end-all, be-all. My lord, you have such a big ego. Oh, guys, I have a big ego because I don't want to see females censored and covered up. Oh, I have an ego because I don't want female sexuality to be suppressed. That's my big ego, because I actually care about my gender. Okay, my big ego. All right, I'll stop roasting people. My point is get over it. My point is acknowledge that censorship is a real thing. Do these same people get upset with cosplayers? That's actually a good point. Is sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Tipster donated $5.
Hey, thank you,
Gotta
Tipster.
support the homie. Keep up the hustle.
Thank you, Tipster, for the $5 donation. Much appreciated. Good to see you. That's the thing with cosplayers, is that these journalists are very hypocritical, like I pointed out. Sometimes they'll attack cosplayers, and sometimes they won't. They have no line in the sand that says, oh my gosh, this cosplayer stepped over the line, this is wrong. They just kind of attack who they want. Basically, they attack the cosplayers with different political opinions than theirs, and they accept and praise and prop up the cosplayers that share similar woke, more left-leaning political opinions to theirs. They defend the people with their political opinions and attack the people on the other side of the spectrum. Principles are not the same thing as ego. Very true, Rod. Very true. But yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about tonight. We talked about the BioWare Mass Effect censorship, which I will be talking about in another video tomorrow. We talked about Christina Ariel's High Republic show opening to a lackluster reception, the Terraria on Stadia being canceled after the developer is locked out of their Google accounts, and Kathy Ann blaming Warner Brothers creative control as the reason behind the failure for Birds of Prey. I am going to stick around for another 5-10 minutes or so if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them into the chat now. I would be happy to answer any questions or topics you guys have. If you're a newer subscriber because of the whole Mass Effect situation, thank you for subscribing. It's good to see you around. If you want to support the channel, you can donate via Streamlabs. The link is in the description. Notifications pop up for donations. Join our Discord. Join our Patreon as a Dark Titan for just $1 a month. I appreciate all the support. Cancel culture is terrible. I agree. I do not agree with cancel culture. Cancel culture is awful. And too many people support cancel culture. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Hold on one second. My YouTube dashboard is... Okay. It's actually okay. I thought it wasn't for a second there. I was like, oh no, what's broken now? Oh no, what's broken now? Nothing. Cosplaying is beautiful. There are some amazing cosplayers out there. I think that it's just another, way to express yourselves. I don't cosplay. I know a lot of people that do cosplay, and I think that it's great. Love your channel. Was wondering, where do you think the gaming and media industries will be in the next 5 or 10 years? I think that that's kind of a hard question to answer because you have gaming and then you have entertainment. I think that things will get better. I think that right now things are very negative when it comes to gaming and, entertainment, movies, TV shows, whatever it may be. I think that it's going to get better. That's basically the easy answer. I think that things will definitely get more positive. And I think that, yeah, just things will get better. It's a very difficult question to answer. We're at a very low right now, but I think we are going to see amazing movies come out, better games, better quality. We're going to see a new standard set in the industry. Maybe when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out in 10 years. Okay. I think Mass Effect 4 is in danger. I do too. Both Mass Effect 4 and Dragon Age 4 are in danger. Agreed. Especially when the project leaders of Dragon Age 4 quit their job last month. Yes, I talked about that. I do definitely think that those projects are... could be in a lot of trouble. Could face a lot of problems. Yes. All playable characters will be flat as washboards come 2025. Probably true. I don't know. I think that things will get better. I think that... Unfortunately, we are going to see more censorship, but I think that people will recognize it more. I hope. Gosh, I hope. Because, wow, is the censorship, is it a big problem? And a lot of people don't recognize or realize how big of a problem it actually is, especially in gaming. I don't know. We'll see. In 5 years, quote me, the gaming industry is better now. If the original art director put an ass shot in, then no, sorry, you can't remove it. That's called censorship. If you have a problem with the scene, go find the original art director. I agree with that, because if working on Legendary Edition was the original art director and he said, you know, our team wants to change it, I'd respect the changes more because it was coming from the original art director, but the original art director is not part of this project. They have no input on this project. And when you're doing a remaster, unless you were working directly on the project, the first project, the original, you know, product, I don't think you should be changing anything like that. It is censorship. It is disrespectful as a woman. It is disrespectful to see companies wanting to erase female sexuality and see females be censored and basically be told, like, just because you're female, you know, can't show your body. It's terrible. I honestly don't mind eye candy for the ladies in films and games. Why is it such a big deal if dudes get a little eye candy? Seems lame. And I agree, Tipster. You know, toxic incels, basically. It's people that want to, you know, dunk on who they deem as losers. And we see a lot of developers who do, you know, lean more social justice and consider themselves social justice warriors. They're woke, who want these changes because they say it's inappropriate, this content is bad, and only toxic people want this content. It's lame. As a woman, I see absolutely no problem. And I know there are so many women who have been in my comment sections, other female content creators who have said there's no problems with this. I don't think there's any problems with there being eye candy in a video game. I don't have much hopes for Mass Effect 4 given BioWare's current state. I'd rather play a remake or a sequel to KOTOR. I agree, but I'm so worried that a KOTOR remake is going to come out and it's going to go terribly. I'm very afraid of that. Very scary. It's spooky. Boop, boop, boop. Cyberpunk is buggy as hell, and CD Projekt Red management are liars, but at least it's not censored. Just look at Pan Am and Judy. That's true. That's true. I mean, modders could fix it anyway, but I am glad that they stuck with their vision. Product could have been executed better, but I'm glad that they didn't alter their beliefs or what they wanted. Yeah, let's not attack anyone because of their opinions. Let's not attack anyone for their opinions. If there's someone attacking someone, they're gonna get timed out. We don't do that around here. We have a genuine conversation. Now, also at the same time, though, if you're gonna call someone pathetic for not agreeing with you, that's also pretty fucking lame of you. Whether, you know, people agree with our opinions or not, they shouldn't be attacked. It's almost like they want to erase our sexuality. Our sexuality is just as much of a part of our identity as any other aspect of us. Why pretend a very real part of our existence doesn't exist? Exactly, Tipster. You are correct. I'm afraid of the KOTOR remake / sequel going terrible too. Yeah. I'm afraid of it going woke and being broke and being awful. I hope it won't be that way. But we gotta hold on to something. And maybe it could be positive and amazing. And gosh, I hope so. I really do. But, all right, you guys, I am going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, please consider checking out the description. You can follow me on social media like Twitter and Minds. I have a BitChute. Join our Discord. We're very active there. I tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you. Consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. I do really appreciate all of the support. If you want to support, you know, short term, you can donate via Streamlabs or PayPal directly. All of those links are in the description. I've got a lot of links now. I'm trying my best to keep up with alt tech like Minds, BitChute, Parler. Rest in peace. I don't think Parler's coming back. But I'm trying. Doing my best, lots of social media platforms, but check out those links in the description. Tomorrow I will have a brand new video up. Like I said, I'll be talking about the BioWare situation. I might have a second video as well on the High Republic topic that we talked about tonight. When is the next stream? I will let you guys know in Discord. It should be, I believe it will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I do hope, as long as everything goes right. I will let you all know in Discord and on Twitter, though, just in case anything changes. But as of right now, it should be tomorrow evening. But like I said, I will let you guys know. If it's not tomorrow, it would be Wednesday. But I'm thinking tomorrow. Yeah, I agree, Alexis. I agree. But anyway, guys, join the Discord. Follow me on social media. Consider supporting the channel. Links are in the description. Thank you all so much for stopping by. And have a fantastic night, everyone.